What's up, guys? I'm Joe. We're all Joe, and this is Scalp Logic. Today we want to talk about how dark is too dark.
Exactly.
Let's talk about it, Nicole.
Yeah. So we get so many messages, and people are like, I just had this session done. It's looking a little off, but the provider I went to is saying if I just come on in for another session, they're going to add some more ink, and it's all going to look fine after that.
Right. That's common procedure with most of our competition. If a customer's not happy with the result,
Yes.
the artist company is like, just come on back and we'll blend ink on top of ink on top of ink until it looks right. To me, it's like, that's craziness.
Yes.
But my whole career, for well over 10 years, that's been happening. So,
Yes.
To me, what this highlights is, the one of the disadvantages, I would say, there's very little to subtle pigmentation, to what we do, is that it looks too light, or it requires
Agreed.
a lot of patience. So
100%
that
agree.
when you're in with us and you're doing a couple sessions, some guys it sticks right away, a lot of guys it doesn't stick right away. But it looks too light. Guys say they still look bald, which
Yes.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand there's a camp of guys that think even my result and what we do still looks bald. But what I want to say to that is we never compromise looking unnatural. So what I mean by that, there's 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 little dots, little impressions on guys' head that we treat. And each dot, each impression, we never want to compromise, going bigger and making that thing look darker so the whole result looks bold.
So it magnifies it right away, and your results are instant. It's like instant gratification.
It's like an instant result, or even on the third or a fourth session. That's what a lot of people do. And so again, to us, it's like it's just never okay to compromise that impression to look real, to look natural, because that's the whole premise. As a bald guy, it's be bald or have SMP and look completely natural, no discrepancy. If there's any discrepancy,
Agreed.
I'm jumping out. I'm not in.
Agreed.
So. How dark is too dark? How do we convey what we know? Because we can look at a picture,
Yes.
we can look at an artist, and we get a lot of these days where someone does 1 or 2 sessions with a company.
Yes.
They send pictures to us and they, guys, help me out.
Yeah.
So right there, we already know, they know they're in trouble. They know it's not to their liking.
They already know. They've got that gut feeling inside of them saying,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this is a little crazy. It looks really dark in every single light. And that's already a red flag that there's something off. And I really want to highlight this. If a guy that has no hair loss completely shaves his scalp, he's going to look bald in certain lighting. That's pretty much the natural of the entire process, is he will look bald.
Sure.
So to want to have an SMP treatment that doesn't look bald at all times, that's not correct.
Yeah, no, that's a really important one. To me, this is common sense, but then I realize I'm on the inside looking out. But guys, and that's exactly right. A guy who doesn't have any SMP just shaves his head all the way down with a razor blade shave.
Exactly.
He still looks bald at the
lighting.
beach in really bright lighting, right? The mood light effect, right? The mood ring effect.
So why wouldn't you want your treatment to
look natural?
Exactly like that.
And I think they just don't grasp that concept. I think they always want to see it. And I think really the answer to that is they care too much about what other people think and say. I think their opinion is skewed.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well,
you like that?
No. I think it's like, you're grappling with hair loss, and you haven't had a hairline for so long, and you just want that hairline, and you want that hairline with you all the time. You want to make sure that you look in the mirror and you see it and you feel that confidence.
Sure, absolutely.
But at what was, it's almost
to
like
compromise somebody seeing it up close, or even from across the room and see, is that ink on that guy's head? That doesn't look like hair. I would never compromise.
And that's
the question you have to ask yourself.
Yes.
Getting this done, are you okay if your uncle, if your cousin, if your friend, whatever, is like, oh, you got some ink on your head. It looks okay, but you got ink. To me, I'd be like, oh, remove it.
That's it.
Right?
That's it, exactly. I mean, I would want to run. The whole part of this is to be undetectable. And I know that we say that. Like, we sit here and we say that over and over.
And you know what, though?
But
what's confusing for consumers is every company says it.
You're right.
Every company says it.
You're right.
We're talking, and guys, please don't get this twisted. I'm trying to be politically correct. It's hard because we're scrutinizing other artists, and obviously people don't like that. But what I'm saying is the biggest artists, the most popular companies in the world, they're doing those bigger dots, right?
Yes.
Let's break that picture up. Can I show that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we'll put that on the screen. This is a little exaggerated. What do you think? Is this normal or extreme?
Honestly,
where would you put that?
This would be about average. This is
average.
about average
This
of
is
what we get.
scary. Now, they're definitely using a 3 needle. One thing I want to note on this picture.
This was one session, by the way.
Okay. What I want to say, this artist is actually skilled, and I mean that, very skilled. If you don't do SMP for a living, even tattoo artists, they don't understand how hard it is to get impressions to stick and heal and look uniform.
Yes.
Right? So I can see right off the bat, this artist he gets the skill. He has it down, which is very hard to do.
Consistency, right? Is
Correct.
what we're talking about.
But that needle size, you know, I always ask myself, is this guy lazy or he just doesn't understand? I mean, pick any impression here.
Yeah.
Is it the size of some? You can see some of his hair. It's not even close. You can fit like 5 or 6 hair follicles, maybe 3 or 4 hair follicles in each impression. So that's what the advice, you know, I would give a consumer. When you're looking at a healed impression, how does it compare to your real hair, right? And everyone's a little bit different. This guy probably has a little thin on the thinner side of his hair.
Yes.
In any event, let's look at the difference between one of our results. This was our result yesterday. Try to keep the privacy, we'll just keep it like that. But obviously it looks lighter right off the bat. This is a fresh result. But look at it, you can dial in, look at the impressions. And again, I ask you, how do those impression sizes compare to the size of a real hair follicle?
Exactly.
Because that's what it's all about.
That's
all
what we're
that matters.
mimicking right there.
Right.
But what I want to just really quick, Joe, I
ahead.
think this is so important.
Yeah,
so
please.
These are the calls that we get right here, and they're like, okay, they said for me to just come back in, and they're going to add more ink on top of
It makes
this.
you crazy. It makes her crazy. Realize how it makes it crazy. You can't put ink on top of ink. There's a there's a girl, you know, without ruffling any feathers, you know, the ink topic, right? That's such a hot topic in our industry. There's a woman who says, I can color correct. If it doesn't look, you know, gray or brown like your hair color, I'll put some pink or yellow in there, and, you know, using the color wheel, right? We'll put ink on top of ink, and that's what I hear. I'm like, as an artist, why would you ever do that to someone's head?
So look, I want to say, if you blend and you add, let's say that this artist went back in and added more tiny dots and really did a good job blending. Okay, it might look okay in that moment. It might look It might be passable. I do want to say that.
Sure.
But long term, that is not going to look good because you already have these big smudges. You already have these really big impressions.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's you know, to us that's so easy to understand.
Yes.
Yeah, as an artist, that's I can make that look really nice today if that man came in. Yes. But man, that would take a long time. As a final result, what would you say? Can we salvage this or 100% laser removal? I'm saying.
I would say 100% laser removal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now why?
Because long term, this is just a short term fix, and it's like all the hours you're going to spend and money for what? You're gonna have to get this removed eventually because people are gonna call you out on this. So why get that done in the first place is my question.
You know, there's like common rhetoric, common logic, and people say, you know, SMP lasts 5 to 7 years. And the understanding for most people is results like this and even results like ours, which by the way, they don't heal anything close to the same. You know, in 5 to 7 years, this is gonna lighten up, right? And then we can redo it again. This is never gonna lighten up.
No.
I can identify each impression that has a shadow around it, it's only gonna spread. It's not just gonna stop in the skin and shrivel up one day. It's just gonna keep spreading.
That's exactly
and so this is the best this result will ever look. As
That's
time goes
scary.
on, they're just gonna keep sinking in and spreading, right? It's
That's
laser
scary.
removal. I can't believe so many artists and companies are so popular. And honestly, I don't mean any disrespect. It just it doesn't look natural. It doesn't even look close to natural. But unfortunately, in the industry today, this is a standard, and we're trying to fight really hard to get consumers to realize that this should not be a standard. It should be an acceptable standard.
That's exactly it. This is why we do these videos. We're not trying to bring any like negativity, but we're really trying to look out for the consumers and make sure that this doesn't happen to you.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
that's really it.
That's it.
Thank you guys.